Welcome to WagerTalk TV. I am Kelly Stewart, joined by Dave Koken and Adam Trigger of WagerTalk.com. Right now, college basketball season is underway over at WagerTalk, and we've got $200 off anybody's season package that includes Dave or Adam using coupon code CBB499. Adam, I'm going to go to you first. We're in my best bet, and that's why I wanted to talk about this. I wanted to see what you and Dave had as far as this game goes. We're headed to the Big Ten. Minnesota heads to Kinnick Stadium to face Iowa. Total is low, which means to me points are premium. Iowa opened a 6.5-point favorite. This one we're starting to see 4.5s now pop up on the Wager Talk odds screen. So I'm going to hoist that CLV trophy super high. I like the Gophers here. I think last week was kind of a fluke. PJ Fleck signs a big contract through 2027, and they were probably looking ahead to this one. Your thoughts on the Gophers at Iowa?
Well, Kelly, I have my CLV trophy too from College Football Today on Tuesday. We talked about this game, and I talked about liking Minnesota at +6. Like them a little less at the current number, which is 4.5, but it's still the way I would go in this game. First off, Iowa's just been a fade for me pretty much all season. And even though it's kind of a known thing that they maybe aren't the number 2 team in the country, which is still wild to me that was ever the case. But I still think there's some value in going against them. Iowa State is terrible offensively, and I really don't know that their offense gets better with Padilla at quarterback. I think he's probably about the same as Petrus. So no sort of upgrade there for me with Iowa. And it's just, like I said, they've been a fade for me all season. I'm gonna continue to go with it. Minnesota, 6-3 team with really 2 inexplicable losses. Their 2 losses, Bowling Green and Illinois, as 2 massive favorites. So really, they probably should be better than 6-3. The Purdue win looks a lot better now. How well Purdue has played. And if you go back to the first game of the season, they were right there every step of the way with Ohio State until Mo Ibrahim got hurt. So I do think Minnesota is a solid football team. I guess my only concern with Minnesota and why this didn't make a paid selection for me, why it was just sort of right on the fringe of making my card, is the injuries are really starting to pile up. And I'm worried that the injuries potentially were one of the reasons they played so poorly last week, because Tanner Morgan's starting to have to do everything by himself. He doesn't have much of a run game. And, you look at his completion percentage now as it was in 2019. 2019, when he had sort of his breakout year, he completed 66.1% of his passes. He's around 59% now. He looks more like the guy that struggled last year as opposed to the guy that broke out in 2019. 6 touchdowns against 7 interceptions. Can't turn it over against Iowa. That's the one thing that'll get you beat by the Hawkeyes. But, all things considered, I still think Minnesota is a solid football team. I've been fading Iowa all year. This team has major problems offensively, so give me the points with the Gophers.
Dave, Adam mentioned those offensive woes for Iowa, and I did have Purdue and the double digits just 4 short weeks ago. And what have the Hawkeyes done since then? They've went 2-2, averaging just 13.5 points per game. Now, I still want to give a little credit to their defense, but I do believe the Gophers should be able to open up their offense with the run game here. I like this team to win the game outright. So to me, at 4.5, it's still a play, but I want to know your thoughts on the line move.
Well, I don't disagree with the line move. I think the number was too high in what figures to be a defensive struggle. I think the value's gone as far as that goes because it's dropped a couple of points. But I don't think there's a reason to think this game won't be extremely low scoring. Iowa has to run the ball to be successful. Their quarterback play is horrible. They don't figure to have much success running the ball on Minnesota. Minnesota, I think they have to run the ball to be successful, and nobody runs on Iowa. So you've got 2 offenses that are pretty one-dimensional, and neither of those one dimensions figures to do well here. The total's low at 37. It always is when Iowa's playing football, but that shouldn't scare you away. This looks like a 14-10 type of football game. I think the under is the way to play between the Gophers and the Hawkeyes.
Love it, Dave. I'll take 14-10 Minnesota as a final. Head over to the Wager Talk YouTube channel. Check out all of my other videos every single week with Adam and Dave. And don't forget to give those guys a follow. Tons of free content on their Twitter pages at Dave Koken and at Top Flight SI.